I'm very excited to celebrate our Centennial Ranches of Johnson County, Part 3. You're going to be hearing Taylor Koch first from the 4 Mile Ranch, and then you're going to hear from Nancy Lee Beatty and Tammy Miller from the Mike A. Hackert Ranch, and then you'll hear from Travis Hackert at the end from the Richard and Donna Hackert Ranch. I want to give a big thanks out for all the people who are attending this evening. This is our first virtual format, so I hope it goes well. I really want to thank all of you supporting this program. As you are aware, it was a pay what you want scale. We know funds are tight during COVID, and we were blessed to have a sponsor for us. So I'd like to give a big thank you out, not only to all of you who have made donations for this, but Western Ranches, Bighorn Real Estate Associates, Christie's International Real Estate, and Jillian Smith Real Estate here in town. We're so thankful that they thought this was a worthy program and is the major sponsor for this. And without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Taylor, and I'm going to mute myself. So Taylor has the floor. Thank you so much. Let's do a virtual clapping for Taylor.
Thank you. I am going to share my screen really quick. And all right. Hi, everyone. And I can't thank you enough for being here for this. This is really exciting for my family and I. So I first want to start my presentation by saying this was formerly known as the Koch Ranch. Now we go by 4 Mile Ranch because that is where our homestead originated. I'm so thankful to be a part of this celebration, and I just want to give you a short background, my family, and a timeline, and then where we want to see our ranch in the next 100 years. So first, I want to start with my great-grandpa. His name is Daniel Tobias Galthath Koch. Him and his parents departed Germany on the 21st of April, 1888 for America. Daniel's parents first established their homestead in Eustis, Nebraska, and Daniel was the youngest of 11 children. He was only 4 years old when his father died, so his mother remained at their homestead with his oldest brothers, their wives, and many other family members. Daniel was 17 when him and his mother moved into the town of Eustis for him to finish his high school education. He then worked on local farms and at the lumber yard in Eustis until 1918. Near his 21st birthday, he moved to Casey, Wyoming with his sister Martha and filed their homestead license. And that date marks this day in history for my family, which was March 26, 1918. Daniel was a dryland farmer. He raised cattle, and at age 34, he married Emma Mayer, my great-grandmother, and they had 4 children: Jean, Kenneth, Roger, and Dale. Due to the many dry years of drought, Daniel bought irrigated farmland, and him and Maya moved down to the river in 1956. They retired in 1960 and sold their ranches to their 3 sons. So here is where I would like to start the family breakdown. The oldest of 4 was his daughter, Jean-Anne, and she was born on the 22nd of July, 1932. She married Robert or Bob Jenkins on the 22nd of July, 1950, and they made their living in Kalispell, Montana. Next, we're going to skip to his 3rd child, Roger Allen. He was born on the 22nd of October, 1935, and he married Anna Elaine Streeter on the 4th of June, 1966. They married their home in Sussex and on working alongside his two brothers, Dale and Ken, until him and his wife Anna decided to move to Buffalo, but they always enjoyed coming to help brand and work cows. The last son, Dale Kent, was born on the 22nd of April, 1944. He married Merle D. Spratt on the 5th of November, 1966. They also lived along the Powder River on the ranch and worked alongside Ken and Roger. They decided to move to Manchester, but still kept their piece of the property on Sussex. And they always coming and working on their property. And they just recently decided to lease out their property. Here is a picture of the family, and then this is our family Chris that I wanted to share with you. And now we're going to back up to the second child of Daniel and Emma, which is my grandfather. He's the second son, Kenneth Dan. He always preferred to go by Ken. He was born on September 5th, 1933. He married Emily Mikey on June 28th, 1961. Ken and Emily, Grandma prefers to be called Emmy, made their home on Sussex along the Powder River and worked with my grandpa's brothers for many years. When it came time for the brothers to part ways, Ken and Emmy took the main role of our family and continue to work the land to this day. Ken and Emmy did a wide range of things in our community. Emmy often taught school in one of the schoolhouses in Sussex, and both of my grandparents irrigated, cut, and baled hay for many of the neighboring ranches. Some of the most hardships our family faced in ranching is severe drought and extreme weather. The blizzards of 1979 and 1982 killed a lot of sheep on our property by being buried a lot in snowbanks and ultimately suffocating. This major hardship was eventually the dissolving of the co-ranch partnership, and each brother struck out on their own. As the market for the beef cattle industry and the sheep industry fluctuates, and all of their byproducts do as well, causes a hardship. Family deaths also hardly affect our operation. The death of my great-grandmother, Emma Koch, in January of 1988, followed by my great-grandfather, Daniel, in September of 1989. These very important members of our family died within a year and a half of each other. This affected our family majorly, but spurred us to continue living their dreams and ours. In 1990, the 4 Mile Ranch expanded its operations by purchasing the Henry Winter, or the Hardwinter Davis property, which first became a homestead in 1881. Just kidding. Ken and Emmy's oldest son, Richard, married his wife, Sherry D. Damuth, in the spring of 1990. These are my parents, and they have raised 3 wonderful children. My sister, Kayla Koch Sowers of Wheatland, myself of KC, and my brother, Kenneth, or Dean, here of KC as well. Another hardship for us was the loss of my grandpa in November of 2017. This was a bittersweet moment for us, achievement for us in 2018 when we were honored as a recipient as the Wyoming Centennial Awards for family ranching in the state of Wyoming. Our family today runs 100 head of Black Angus cattle. Some of the hardships that we're soon to face is drought years. It makes it really hard to water 400 head of cows with dry weather and little spring moisture. It keeps our animals from reaching their potential consignment weights, which we sign a contract in early July. Here are some pictures I just wanted to share of my great-grandpa's family. There's the Daniel Koch children on the steps of their homestead on the 4 Mile. Daniel, his wife, and his sister-in-law, also in front of the same house on 4 Mile. And then my grandpa and his siblings on the homestead. Today, the ranch is run by several members of our family. My grandma, Emma Mikey Lee Koch, my father, Richard, and my mother, Sherry, myself, my brother, Dean, along with his girlfriend and his 2 beautiful children. My parents also have 2 granddaughters who live in Texas, which they come to the ranch often and just love being here, being in the free, clean air and seeing the cows. My parents, also have a grandson. He lives in Wheatland, and when he comes to the ranch, he is so excited to see cows. Here are a few pictures of our operation. My parents with their grandkids while we were branding this year. It was so nice. My dad didn't have long sleeves. Shipping 2020, it was a beautiful day, and you can see our round pen is full of cows. And then in the top, it was my grandma and grandpa's 50th wedding anniversary. And here is our future. The ranch definitely lies with the children and grandchildren of this family. You see in this picture are my brother's kids, Jaden and Layton, and my sister's daughters, Macy and Natalie, both of which reside in Texas. Oops. Over the last few years, my dad and my brother have worked extremely hard to make our property run more efficiently. This last fall, we've put in 2 new pivots, which we hope to put up enough hay to, of course, feed our own livestock and to sell. My brother Dean and my dad also operate a portable livestock scale during the shipping season. My brother has done a lot of the mobile scale for the last 2 years, traveling into Montana and as far south as Douglas for jobs. Our operation wouldn't be what it is today without the love, dedication, and support of our family members and friends. We often get a lot of our big jobs done with family friends who enjoy coming out to help. So I know my presentation was short and I talk really fast, but that's about all I have if there's any questions. You're still muted, Jennifer.
Thank you. I do have one question. I'm always fascinated because I don't come from an agricultural background. Has your family discussed what you think the future will bring to your family ranch?
Not a lot. We are worried about how the cattle industry is going to affect us because obviously there's no steady ground there. That's why we've put in 2 new pivots and are hoping kind of to supplement ourselves with enough hay crops to boost us.
Are there any fun family stories that your family has shared at, campfires or family reunions over the years?
Oh, we have a few, not too many. There's been a few since I've been alive. We have a 1990 or 91 GMC pickup, and it's been through a lot in its life. We had a bum in the front seat and it had butted the windshield and shattered the windshield. And then we converted it into a flatbed and made it a welding truck. And it's a manual, so we had it parked on the hill and we'd roll it down the hill to start it, and it didn't get put in gear and it went off the hill and through a barn. And our family just loves to fish, so every year for my dad's birthday, which is the 3rd of July, we would just go up to the mountain and fish for the day and camp, and we just had so many good memories there. My grandpa used to tease us about bears, and we'd sleep in a tent and he'd scare the poop out of us in the night.
One of the questions came through, where specifically is the 4 Mile Ranch located in KC?
It is 15.5 miles east on the Sussex Road.
I bet the weather's interesting down there.
It's so windy.
Has any of the floods near Casey been affected the ranch of any sort?
It doesn't really affect our part of the ranch too much. We are a lot higher than the ranch, or higher than the river, I mean. So if it floods, we can't get across. Like we had some property on the south side of the river, and when it's high water, we can't get across, but the floods don't really hurt any of us too much.
Well, that's good that you have access to water because our homestead cabin outside, it was down near the Sussex area and they had to dry farm.
Yeah, my great grandpa dry farmed until they moved down by the river in the 50s. So
So what kind of improvements has your family done on the ranch over time?
so
Whether,
go ahead, sorry.
no, I was going to say whether like electricity or irrigation or whatnot.
So the Sahara ditch was put into our property in the early 1900s by my grandma Emmy Mikey's great grandpa or grandpa. So that is a big benefit for our ranch now. We have 3 pivots that run on our property, so we don't have to like flood irrigate anymore, which is great, the best invention ever. Out on our range property, we have 1 electric well. When there's some oil field out there, we have electricity and 1 well that's ran off of that. We have 2 solar wells and then a generator operated well.
Oh, okay. And all of them are still being used?
Yep, all the time.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Has your family diversified crops over the years, or have they always been like, what did they start out with originally?
So on the dry land, I'm not sure exactly. When they bought the Hard Weather Davis property, we used to raise corn, and we would chop corn for silage that fed our sheep and our cattle. And now we mainly only raise oats and alfalfa, some sorghum, but that's pretty much our basic.
Wonderful. Well, then I guess we'll move on to, I don't see any other questions coming in right now. Oh, are there any remaining evidence of the Hardwinter Davis Ranch?
So there are 2 houses that are still up. They haven't been lived in since the 80s, so they're destroyed pretty much, but they're still standing, yes. And then there is the Koch house that is still erect and it has the rooms in it.
So what were the 2 original houses from the ranch used for? Do you have any records of what those buildings were?
I don't. We had two hold outhouses. We still have one here at the property, and then there's one at the museum in KC.
Oh, so that's from the ranch. So how did they pick which one got to go to the museum?
I have no idea.
All right. I don't see any other questions coming in right now, but if